Hello and welcome to your new moon tarot reading for November 2020. My name is Diana and I use tarot to enhance self-trust and help you connect with your inner truth, your inner wisdom, and your intuition to facilitate your self-transformation journey. So, as I already mentioned, today we are going to be doing a tarot reading for the new moon of November 15, 2020. And this video is going to consist of two parts. The first will be the general reading, so the general message, the general overview and the energy of this new moon. And then you will be offered an option to choose one of the three additional readings should you wish to go a bit deeper and see how this broader energy of the new moon could affect you more specifically. Of course, this is still a general reading, but at least I will try to narrow it down for you. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. So what I want you to do is I really want you to pay close attention to your intuition and to how the messages that you hear feels to you and what sense do they make to you and what comes up in your internal space, as this is exactly what will tell you where you should focus on and where you should put your attention and what needs to be worked on for you specifically. So that will be your clue and the value that you will get out of this reading and this tarot message. So if you would like, then of course the new moon is a very good opportunity to set your intentions for the whole lunar cycle ahead, and I really suggest you that you do that. Do some journaling, reflect upon your journey so far and where you would like to go next, and really set those intentions and goals for yourself. And then when you have done watching the video and listening to your message, see how can you modify your plans and maybe how you could solve the problems and challenges that you may be facing and what else should you need to take into account. Or if you don't want to set the intention, then of course you can watch this video and use it as an inspiration for what's to come and what you should be prepared for and what could be the best way for you to get the most out of the upcoming lunar cycle. Okay, so these are your options, and again, I really want to encourage you to listen to your own inner voice and what comes up. Okay, but now let's take a look at the general message for this new moon. Hi and welcome back. So this is the general message for the new moon of November 15, 2020. And I must say I'm really excited to dive into this message for this month because in the previous months we could see this unfolding journey that is calling us to connect with our true purpose and with our true self. And it also required those old structures to break down, which was the challenging part and probably caused some problems for us. And now I'm really curious to see how it keeps unfolding and what else can we expect to deal with in this upcoming lunar cycle. So let us have a look at the cards that we have. So the first card is the Eight of Air, or the Eight of Swords reversed. Then we have Journey, which is also reversed, and Page of Swords, Six of Swords, and finally the Lovers. And I also have a few runes that go with the tarot cards, and this month we have the Ehwaz rune reversed. Then we have Wunyo, which we had also the previous month, and we have Lagus, or the water. So the Ehwaz is the horse and Wunyo is the joy. Okay, so what about this month and what is the message? I think that, well, first of all, I would like to say that since we do have this Lovers card, that we are still on the journey. And by the way, we literally have the card called the Journey. So we are on the journey of becoming a better version of ourselves, and we do that by coming closer to ourselves, by learning to bring that love for ourselves into our life. And by truly learning to love ourselves, we connect with our purpose, and we also are able to love others and the world at large, since that is how we connect with that divine source of love that is within us. And it really is a journey. It cannot happen instantly overnight. It needs some time. It needs us to do the work that is necessary to shed our old skin and to get rid of the conditioning of all the old patterns that don't serve us. So yes, it keeps happening. It is still a process, and we are on our way to create this life that is our life, that we feel matches our self or our true self the best. And of course, it is constantly changing and evolving, but currently we are moving closer to that. And that is definitely something that keeps happening and that is going on. So we are on the right track, I would like to say. But another thing that stands out for me in this reading is that we may lack proficiency to do that. Let me explain what I mean. So, for example, we have been conditioned and we have realized that this was the case, and we have worked hard to get rid of those old patterns, which was the work that we were doing the previous months. So we were dealing with the old stuff, and we were finishing things and letting go of things, and really started to embrace that new energy and that new chapter that we are about to enter. But if we have lived the majority of our lives in one type of seeing the world and thinking, and we were having this certain type of mindset, even if we realized that it was off and that it was not truthfully ours, and we are now getting rid of that, what comes instead? We don't have those skills yet to replace it completely with something that serves us. Or at least we may have an intention to do that, and we may know pretty good what would serve us the best for the time being. But what we don't have is that, how to say, that unconscious competence to execute those skills. We still need to think very hard, and we still need to train our mind to think in a new way. And we still need to invite those new thoughts and a new type of thinking in, and we need to do it consciously. And we are also prone to make mistakes here, since that is something that we trained to do. We are practicing this thing, and we really practice that self-love, and we practice to think those thoughts that feel good and that are empowering, instead of putting us down. So again, as I said, this is a journey. This is something that keeps unfolding, and that is a process of growth for us. And it's important that we understand that we may make mistakes. We are error prone at this part of the journey. And even though the direction is correct for us, it doesn't mean that life will be wonderful and that there will be nothing that will challenge us. Probably that won't be the case. And we have bumped into some obstacles because simply that is how this journey unfolds. This card, the Page of Swords, it reminds me of new beginnings, and also starting to write that new chapter. So in old days they were using feathers to write as a tool for writing. So this is like you are now a writer of your life, a creator of your destiny, and you start to write your story, your new paradigm or narrative. And the pages in tarot are newbies. in any area they find ourselves in. They are just starting out. They are excited and they want this thing to they want to master this thing in this new area, but they are beginners. They are coming from no experience, or at least their past experience cannot cover all the new things that are now coming their way. So they are really prone of making mistakes. So we kind of start to write this new story of our life, but how do we really do that? We need to test things out probably, and we need to gather more information. So this is definitely where we can see those old patterns and that old stuff coming back up, and we still need to deal with that. We need to be able to differentiate between, okay, this is the old thought that is still there, and I need to deal with that, and this is the new thought that I'm now introducing into my life, and so how they are different, and I need to be aware of that. And it's pretty draining. It can be pretty draining at times. This reversed Eight of Swords, I think it speaks about this this idea that a thought is like a sharp blade, and you need to be masterful when you use that thought, because it can hurt you badly. You can see in the artwork there are two knives this angel is holding, and one of the knives have actually cut his hand. So your thoughts can really harm you, and your job is to be able to turn that knife upside down and keep it in such a way that you can use it as a tool. You have to learn how to use your thoughts as a tool to achieve what you want, to create that life that you picture for yourself. So since this card is reversed, it most likely suggests that we are struggling with that. We still need to be very careful and aware of our thoughts, and which thoughts are harming us and which thoughts are for our own good. And the journey card is also reversed, and I think it's very closely linked to our thoughts and how we think about our life and how we view it, because we are kind of offered to choose two paths. One is light, illuminated, and there are sun shining, and we are kind of expansive, and this journey is really opening up. And the other path is dark, and we are unconscious of so many things if we choose to go down this path. And the reversal of this card suggests that we are still not really, we still haven't really decided which path to take, and we may be still confused about which is the path that we are going down really, since journeying in the dark could also mean dealing with our shadow. And how do we know when it is enough to deal with the shadow, to deal with those negative thoughts, and when is the right time when we deliberately switch our attention to the positive, to what we want, as opposed to what we don't have and what is wrong with us. So this is a pretty tricky place to be in, since we know that we need to work with the hard stuff, with the stuff that we don't want to deal with, and the heavy stuff, our shadow aspects. We need to take a look at our negative thoughts in order to heal them and turn them around. But when is it too much? And when we are harming ourselves instead of helping ourselves. So this tipping point is also something that we must be aware of, and probably we, as I already said, we lack proficiency, and we may need to do some probing and really see what is actually going on and what is actually beneficial for us. Basically, there are two mindsets. The first one is that life is happening to us, and we cannot do much about that. That would be holding those thoughts that are harming us and picking the direction which takes us into the darkness. We cannot do much about that, and we are victimized by life, by the things that are happening to us. And the other mindset is I am creating my life, or at least I am able to do something with what has been thrown at me. I'm able to turn it around, or if I don't know how yet, then at least I'm willing to look for those answers and solutions. And that would be picking that illuminated path and being more conscious about how we live and what we want and what we don't want. And this is a matter of self-trust. The Ehwaz rune, or the horse, is pointing towards that. It is about trusting oneself. So how can we trust ourselves? And how do we know that what comes up inside is something that we can believe in and rely on, or is it something that we should be cautious about? So this is the horse. And imagine that you are riding a horse, and can you trust your vehicle, your horse, to take you home? Or do you need to guide it into a direction where you think your home is? So this is that type of thing, and you are your horse in this context. So how can you trust yourself, and can you trust yourself? But I really want to stress here that this is completely normal in this part of the journey. Since we feel and hear that calling, and we have answered it, and we are already moving into that direction, but still we need to train ourselves to be that new version of ourselves that we want to become. And as I said, we are just starting to write the new chapter of our life, and we lack that skill and that experience to do it properly without making any mistakes. But bit by bit, drop by drop, we need to get rid of that old conditioning. Even though we have made a decision to leave it behind, and even though we have already worked very hard to deal with that, it is still there. It is still a part of us, since it has been a part of us for such a long time. It's really deeply ingrained, and we really need to take that into account. But we also have the joy rune, the Wunyo rune here, and this is an indication that we still follow our joy. We still do what feels best, and we really line up with that good stuff that we know is the best for us. And I think that to end this general message, I want to come to this Lagos rune and talk a bit about that. This is your intuition, this is your subconscious, and that is the realm where you as an individual, as a separate being, merge with the collective. And this is your higher purpose and your calling that is still there, and you are still connected to it. This is about your imagination, about your dream world, about your intuition speaking to you. So yes, the Lover's card, you are coming closer to yourself through listening to those signs and really answering them, and coming closer and closer and closer to your true self. So the message of the Lagos rune and the meaning of it is kind of enveloping this journey safely, and you know that you are on the right track as long as you listen to your heart, as long as you follow the signs that matches your purpose and matches your heart's calling. And if you bump into some obstacle or barrier, know that it is a normal part of the journey. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid to think those negative thoughts, and know that there is a time to switch them around and to think in a more empowering way. So in this new moon, we really keep moving on, and I think we should not be too hard on ourselves if something doesn't go as planned, if there are some delays and rejections and obstacles in our path. We are still learning, we are still growing, and we should take a very good care of ourselves and also of other people to support each other on this journey. Okay, so this is your general message for the new moon of November 15, 2020. And now you can pick one of the 3 additional readings that will give you some maybe more specific details about what you could experience specifically in this lunar cycle. So here you can take a closer look at the 3 piles of cards for you to choose from. So this is pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Do take some time to pick the pile that resonates the most with you for the time being. And then when you've done choosing your pile, take a look at the description box down below for timestamps and get straight to your message. Okay, message number 1, additional message for the new moon reading of November 15, 2020. And you have the shadow side. You have the Hermit card reversed. You have the King of Cups also reversed. And finally, you have the Oracle card, Go the Distance. Okay, so your message for this new moon. I want to come back to this journey card from the general message and to those 2 paths where one is light and illuminated and the other one is dark. And then if you take a look at the shadow side, I think it explains pretty good where you could find yourself currently regarding this journey and regarding your personal path. You may be still full of fear, which is suggested by this card, by the shadow side, which is the Devil card in the traditional tarot. And it could be that you are sort of hiding in a shell, and you are hiding both from the world outside and what it could bring to you, and also, and even more so, from yourself. You are afraid, or you may be afraid to be exposed to your own darkness, to your own fears and weaknesses and whatever is hiding in that darkness. And that could be the reason why you resist moving through it, the reversed Hermit. The Hermit card is about journeying within and doing that soul-searching work and finding your inner light and your inner wisdom, which you can then take and apply to your external life, and basically you become a more mature person, and you are kind of able to separate the truth from the lies for yourself and refine your own life's path. Basically, you get more mature as you do that soul searching, but you are avoiding that and you may be resisting that. Probably you don't feel that you have enough strength and wisdom to deal with whatever is hiding in your shadow, or maybe you just don't want to deal with that. You want to kind of find a shortcut to that path of light, of that beautiful life that you want or are perhaps trying to create or manifest. You kind of want to get there quickly, or at least you don't want to do the hard work, the hard and unpleasant work that is necessary to get there. The only problem is that, of course, you can do that, you can look for that shortcut, but what is inside you, your shadow, will keep haunting you. No matter what you do, no matter what manifestation techniques you employ, your shadow will still be there, and it will go wherever you go. It will follow you. And your only option at the end of the day is to turn around and face it. There could be something to do with your emotions, indicated here by this reversed King of Cups. Some emotions that you may be having a hard time mastering. King of Cups, when reversed, speaks about our addictions, our inability to control our emotions. But by control our emotions, I don't mean suppressing them, but having this understanding that we are not our emotions, and having this ability not to react and live through our emotions. So, for example, if something triggers you, you have that space within where you can choose to respond to that trigger. The emotion is elicited, but your reaction still follows according to how you think is the best in that particular situation, as opposed to you reacting immediately like that because something triggered you. The reversed King of Cups indicates that probably if there's a bomb and it has a fuse, then that fuse is very short for you. So there could be something, self-mastery of some sort, that you still need to work on, and you refusing to face your shadow is preventing you from mastering this area of your life. And the Oracle card, Go the Distance, says that there are really no shortcuts here, or any shortcuts that you may have or you may think that you have are really nothing but illusions, and they are not shortcuts at all. They are simply detours that will waste your time, because you will end up at the same spot you started the journey. You will still be fearful of your shadows, of the things that you don't want to deal with. They will still be there, and also that wisdom, that inner wisdom, and that truth that is hidden beneath the shadow is also still there. These are those jewels and gems that you must take and reclaim, because they belong to you. Nobody else can take them, and only you can find them, and only you can use them, because that is a part of you. So indeed, your job here, and the invitation of the cards, is please don't be afraid of the scary stuff. Don't be afraid of yourself, because you can only win here. You can only recover those gems that are hiding beneath the shadow. And when you have done that, when you have gone the distance, you will be very, very thankful to yourself that you did it. It will be a very rewarding journey for you. So please be brave, and if you find yourself in a position where you are constantly fighting something, and when you cannot get the upper hand, then know that there is a solution for that. And what you must do is, instead of resisting and opposing that, face it, go with it, go inside, dive deeper, and find your truth. It will serve you immensely. Okay, so this is your additional message for this new moon. Really do challenge yourself to go the distance. Do push yourself a little bit, and you will be very happy about that afterwards. Okay, I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you soon in my next video. Take care, and bye-bye. Hi, group number 2. So this is your message if you picked the second pile of cards. And let's see, what do you have? Oh, you have the Queen of Wands. You have the Two of Swords reversed. You have the Magician. Such a powerful message. And the Oracle card is Building Blocks. Okay, your new moon of November 15, 2020. Well, first of all, the Queen of Wands and the Magician. The red color, that fiery feeling, that fiery energy, excitement, and really this feeling that you are on top of the world, at least your world, and you may feel excited and very creative and ready to go. It's like this energy of I cannot wait to start doing something. I'm really onto it. I'm really passionate about something. I have realized what my passion is, and I really, really want to follow it as soon as possible. Or if you don't quite feel like that just yet, it's just under the surface. It's very, very close and available to you. This passion, this excitement, and this renewed joy about yourself and really falling in love with your life. Of course, I may be overstating a little bit, but that's just to illustrate how this Queen of Wands and the Magician, how it feels like to me. This is very, very creative. And also the color red is the root chakra and the color yellow is the solar plexus chakra. So it's about your life's purpose, your sense of joy, and how that becomes real and how you bring it into the real world, your root chakra, how you take care of yourself through that, and how you ground your joy and your passion. So definitely, indeed, those lower chakras are activated here in your reading. But you also have this Two of Swords reversed, and this is very different. The Two of Swords is usually about those situations when we are facing with a decision of some kind, and there are two or perhaps more options for us to choose from and several directions to go down to. Again, I can come back to this journey card when there are two paths that we can choose from. And with the Two of Swords, there is this difficulty to decide which one should I pick, which is the right path. And again, we come back to the self-trust, and can I trust myself? Is my judgment correct? Am I not seeing something? Am I missing some kind of information that would help me decide better for myself, that would help me make a better decision? Is there something, and do I have everything I need to know, all the information that I need to know in order to make the best decision for myself? So that is how the Two of Swords feels like, and usually the solution to this problem is to listen to your inner voice and what your intuition is telling you, which direction it is guiding you. And I think that given those two cards flanking this Two of Swords card, I think that the reversal of the card of the Two of Swords is showing that you don't really want to deal with this conflict or this ambivalence anymore, and you just want to go about and live your best life. You have the Queen of Wands, and she's very creative, and she's all about her life's purpose and expressing her creativity, and she has this entrepreneurial spirit, and she's very warm and loving and kind and charismatic, and she cannot help but be herself. And the Magician is all about creating your life, having those tools and resources that are necessary to do that, and having belief in yourself so that you can actually accomplish that and do that. So it's very, very powerful. And perhaps you have gotten in touch with those energies within, and now you just want to run with them. But coming back to the general journey and how those old patterns can come back through the back door, I think it is a bit of a warning for you. Perhaps you refusing to solve this ambivalence and this internal conflict that is going on, perhaps that could backfire on you later on. We were speaking about that we are still prone of making errors, and making mistakes is something that could happen to us in this journey. And with this Queen of Wands and the Magician, you may be too into that new idea and that passion, and you may not pay proper attention to what feels uncomfortable and what is unclear and what confuses you. You may kind of skip that, which probably is not the best idea. It's like you have been attached to a rubber band, and if you stretch that rubber band too much and if you go too far, at one point it will pull you back really strongly, and you might end up at the same spot you begin from. So be careful about that and don't overlook the details. And if something feels unclear or uncomfortable within, do take some time to sit with it, to sit with the discomfort and see what comes up, because it can have some very important information to communicate to you, something that you need to be aware of in order to make the best decision for yourself at this point in time. It doesn't mean that your ideas are wrong and that your passion is misleading you. Really, it's not the case. With the Queen of Wands and the Magician, you can have everything that you want, everything that you desire. You can create that and manifest that. It's all in your power. Just be careful about those little things. Once discovered your power as a creator, you may not be willing to face your weaknesses anymore. I got this. I know how to do this, and let me do it. Let me demonstrate you how powerful I am. But please don't do that. Don't go there. Again, the Page of Swords. We are just starting out to write this new story of our lives, and we are newbies. We are the beginners. We lack the skills and experience, and that may harm us in some way. So don't put yourself down and don't dim your light, but be careful. And also, the Oracle card, the building blocks, is suggesting you to take it in a stepwise manner and be very careful. And don't rush things. Don't try to manifest too much at one time. The building blocks is about really putting one brick next to the other, and then the next layer, and then the next one, and that is how you build the foundation of your life that is stable, that is secure, and something that you can rely upon. You don't want the structure of your life to break down at some point. So even though if your passions and your desires are very, very true to your heart's calling, it doesn't mean that you know how to make them real. So you still need to be careful about that part, about how to actually do that, how to craft your dream and your desire and your passion, how to make it real and how to find ways to make it work. Just by having intention and this good energy about that and this connection with your heart doesn't mean that you don't need to do the hard work to create something that is long lasting and something that can lay roots in the reality, basically. So yes, you still might need to do those difficult decisions, and you still might need to do the work on your limiting beliefs, on the things that are holding you back. And indeed, please be cautious about that and take things a bit slower, and don't worry if there are some delays. Basically, with the Queen of Wands and the Magician, you can have everything you want, just perhaps not at the pace you want it. So yes, this is your message, group number 2. for the new moon. So whatever you have in mind, keep at it, do it. Just make sure that you do it properly. Okay? So, okay, I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you soon in my next video. Take care and bye-bye. Hello, group number 3. So this is your message if you picked the final pile of cards. And you have the Four of Wands. You have the Six of Swords reversed. Then you have the Ace of Pentacles. And Clean It Up, the Oracle card. Okay, your additional message for the new moon of November 15, 2020 is actually pretty similar to the group number 2. I would say it's almost the same message. So you guys have really decided to live your best life, to celebrate life, and to line up with your success. The Four of Wands is that celebration. This is about all those life events that we find worth celebrating. Anniversaries, birthdays, weddings, life achievements like promotions, or basically they don't necessarily have to be like those types of events, but also on a personal level. So if you accomplish something, or even if you step into the mindset of the celebration, it is still worth celebrating. And you want to do that, you feel that there is something in your life that you want to celebrate, and that in and of itself brings this aura of enjoyment and fun, and really the celebration is in the air for you, and you are very excited about that. And actually what you also have is the Ace of Pentacles, and that is a real opportunity for manifestation of something. That is a seed that could be put in a fertile ground, and that could be a beginning of something beautiful and something that will increase your well-being and your abundance and prosperity. So in this new moon, in this lunar cycle, there is some kind of an opportunity that is coming to you, or perhaps you are the one creating that opportunity. And it's a very real one. It has a very good potential to turn into something that will increase your wealth in the future. This is just a beginning, this is just a seed and the initial stage of this, but it is there nevertheless. And you having this mindset and attitude of already having accomplished beautiful things in your life, and you basically feel that you are that person who can handle this new opportunity, and you want that. It kind of stems from that. I have a feeling they are closely linked, and the colors, the warm colors, the golden of this coin and the red and yellow colors of this card, they are really bringing up this feeling of abundance and richness and fullness of life. Like your life is really, it really feels good, and you are inspired, and maybe you cannot wait to get started with this opportunity or this new project, or perhaps it's a job offer, perhaps you want to start a business, something along those lines, or perhaps it's something that is still on the way. Perhaps you have not yet lined up with that, it has not yet manifested for you, but I do have a feeling, given the whole of this message and also the general message, that you will very soon line up with that, and you will find out what it is exactly for you. But again, here's the word of warning, just as the group number 2 had. Please don't try to skip the difficult part of this new journey. Even though you feel good and inspired, it doesn't mean that life will be seamless from this point on. As I mentioned in the general reading, we are newbies, we are beginners, we are just starting out, and we are still trying to distinguish between our old thoughts and old conditioning and the new thoughts that we want to create for ourselves. And we may have some hard time managing them and navigating our way through them. So we could be making mistakes, and we could be, because of lack of the experience, we could be overlooking something. And you have the Six of Swords reversed. And when upright, this card speaks about transitions. And oftentimes it is associated with also changing beliefs and changing our beliefs. This is not always pleasant, and sometimes we must admit that we have failed in some way, or that we have lost something, and we just cannot get anything good out of this old situation anymore, and so we move on. But when this card is reversed, you either don't want to move on or you feel resistant to change. But since this reversed Six of Swords is surrounded by those two wonderful cards, the Ace of Pentacles and the Four of Wands, it kind of feels that you want to get on the other side of this body of water, whatever it is. You just want to get right to the other side and start doing this thing, this Ace of Pentacles thing, whatever it is for you. You cannot wait for that. You feel that you are all ready and fired up to do that. But there is still something hidden in those waters that you must cross. Again, Lagos, we had this rune from the general reading. This is your intuition, and this vast subconscious realm that is full of many unknown things and many things that you are not aware of. You may not have the full picture here. Please, group number 3, remember that. You may not have a full picture here, and you hurrying into something may actually turn out to be detrimental to you at the end, because perhaps if you would just waited a little longer, or perhaps if you just did your research more thoroughly, you would find out something that would be very helpful for you, and you would make better decisions. Perhaps being a bit more patient and pacing yourself is a good idea at this time, because perhaps there is something that still needs to surface from those waters, from your subconscious. Perhaps there are still some beliefs that you need to deal with, and if you would take on too much with regards to this new opportunity, perhaps you would put yourself in a position where it's hard for you to actually deal with the old stuff, with the past stuff, and the new things that you want to create. So be mindful about that and be careful. And also, if we take a look at the Oracle card, it suggests that you should clean something up. So there is something that you need to face and deal with. Don't postpone that. Don't rush into the new before you have dealt with the old. Make sure that your house is clean when you invite your guests and when you celebrate. So that is the main message here for you, group number 3. Yes, if you have that goal in mind and if you feel good, do follow that. Do follow your joy and don't hesitate to move towards that, to take steps towards that. But please also remember that you may not be fully equipped and fully ready to be able to clearly distinguish what part of your journey is the new part and what part is the old one. Clean the mess that is still there from the past. Deal with that, leave it behind, and once you know that it's no longer there, that it will no longer show up for you, and that the path is free for you to embrace the new, then it's time to take action and to take this opportunity and turn it into something real and beautiful for yourself. Okay, so this is what I see for you today, group number 3, when it comes to your new moon of November 15, 2020. I think this is a lovely message, and I truly wish the best for you, and I truly wish that you are able to connect with your heart and do it wisely, do it properly, and do it in a way that really brings those treasures back to you. Okay, so I'll talk to you soon in my next video. Take care and bye bye.